What's going on? Joey Ricotta here. Welcome back to On Tap Bets. We are live to break down another tournament. We took last week off. Last golf tournament we did was the Charles Schwab Challenge, the Schwaba Ranks. I am back here today with Jack Bushman, the man himself, at Jack Bushman 2. Jack, welcome. How are you doing, man?
I'm doing good, man. We're up in Canada for the first time in quite a while. The RBC Canadian Open has not been able to be played the past couple of years. So I'm sure a lot of folks up north of the border are excited for this tournament. It's an interesting field. We got some big names at the top, few good guys there in the middle, and then things kind of just dive off a cliff. So it's an interesting tournament. It's the week before a major. We've seen a couple of long shots take home the title in the weeks before majors so far this season. So we could see another one here this week, but it should be a fun tournament. It's a scoring opportunity for players potentially. So it should be a good one. I know we got the U.S. Open coming up next week, so I'm sure that will draw some traction to this event. It's really, we're in the thick of golf season right here. We got some more quality tournaments coming up, 2 more majors to be played still this season. So I'm excited for it. I know it's not the deepest of fields, like I said, but it should be a fun event and gets kicked off tomorrow morning. So hopefully we'll find a winner because, man, we've had it tough here recently, man. And I know we're not going about it the wrong way. We're just not having guys perform well on Sunday in order to cash us some tickets. So hopefully we'll get a winner this week. Feeling good heading into the year's 3rd major next week up in Brookline, Massachusetts at the Country Club. That would be a good one to pull home a winning ticket. So let's get back into form here. Hopefully we'll get a winner heading into the year's 3rd major, Joey.
I'm all for it, man. And you were telling me too before here hopping on that, you're right there until Sunday. And I just feel so bad for you, man, because I've had a little bit of a rough stretch here as far as outrights go, but like my season overall has been pretty solid. And I mean, it's just once you get to Sunday, I feel like it's just all luck at that point. Like when we're building and constructing these betting slips, there's a lot of thought that goes into it. We do a ton of research, and sometimes you hit them, sometimes you don't. But like you said, you're like a week early on a lot of these guys, and that's just tough. Like how do you can't predict that. That's just unpredictable. Right. And it's like the next week, if they crush your soul, you don't want to go back to them, but they might be a good fit for that course. And you're like, I can't do it.
Yeah.
And, it's just the variance, and this tournament in particular that we're going to talk about, the RBC Canadian Open, it's going to be there at St. George's Golf and Country Club. First time, like you said, since 2010. And they haven't done the Canadian Open for a couple of years now because of COVID. So this will be fun. I mean, it's not, we're always looking forward to these majors and stuff like next week. I'm very excited for next week, but I still want to win a bet this week,
Right.
Like let's go ahead and cash some tickets before we get into that, like that mammoth major next week. So, the field sucks. You kind of mentioned it. The field is horrible. There's no sugarcoating it. I mean, you've got guys that should not be under 20-1 that are under 20-1. And I don't know, man, like my style, my style, Jack. I like going for those long shots. I like going for mid-range to long shots. I got an absolute bomb for you this week. If it hits. And I don't know if it's going to happen. I'm just throwing darts at dartboards, just trying to get something to stick. I think you're going to like it. I don't know if you're actually going to bet it, but I think you're going to like that I'm at least attempting it anyway.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited to hear about it. But yeah, I mean, it would just be nice to get in some good form heading into the Open, get our confidence a little bit higher. And like we've both already said, we've been right there, man. Like last week, going back to the Memorial, I talked to you about this before the show. After Thursday, obviously there's still 3 more rounds. And if I've learned anything from betting golf, the first round doesn't mean anything. It's a cumulative event for a reason, right? And you tend to get overexcited when guys are doing well on Thursday, and you're like, this could be the week. Out of the 5 guys that were tied for the lead at the end of Thursday, I had 4 of them, and none of them ended up coming in the top 10. Cam Smith absolutely dunked it way down on Sunday. He was terrible. He was, I mean, honestly, he wasn't really playing good all weekend. He just happened to be chipping it in all over the place, and he gained like 8 strokes around the green, which is just not sustainable. Luke List was there too, and then he triple bogeyed 17 on Saturday. There goes his tournament. And I've been right there, man. I had Sam Burns at the PGA. Probably shame on me for not sticking with him next week at the Charles Schwab. Get burned there. Going back to the Masters, I had Spieth then. Goes out and wins the next week at the RBC Heritage. It's like, oh my gosh. But at the same time, that does tell me that I'm not too far off. And, hopefully we can start getting on a heater as the year comes to an end, because that's how I closed out last season. I had Cantlay at the BMW, Cantlay at the Tour Championship. He cashed them both. So, hopefully as the season progresses here, we can get on a little bit of a heater. And hopefully it starts this week with a pretty crummy field at the Canadian Open at Royal St. George's.
Yeah, sometimes, you just got to fall flat on your face multiple times before you can get up and just start running. I mean, you got to total like 2 vehicles before you find that really nice vehicle and keeper that you invest all your money in. So
I like that.
Hopefully, Jack, this is the week that you take one down. Yeah, man, before we get into this actual tournament, I want to talk about a little bit about, I know you want to talk about it as well, the LIV Golf news. I mean, we've got some big names dropping or going to this tournament, going to this this new league, I guess I should say, the LIV Golf. And Dustin Johnson's one of them. Bryson DeChambeau is now one of them. Phil Mickelson was obviously the most notable originally. Patrick Reed and many other guys here. Jack, give me your thoughts on this entire situation. Like, is this just a case of players taking the money and some players not taking the money, or like, what are we looking at here?
Yeah, that's absolutely what it is. I really think that's what it comes down to. Like, for a lot of these guys, you get offered that amount of money to play in far less tournaments, and it's going to be a smaller field. And especially for those top guys like a Dustin Johnson or a Louis Oosthuizen and Bryson DeChambeau, like, they are by far the best players that are going over there as of right now. And when those payouts are ridiculous, like we're seeing, I mean, there's $20 million in individual prizes for each week, plus $5 million to the team winner. At the end of the year, the top 3 individuals get to split $30 million. I mean, they're just throwing money at these guys. Bryson's getting, 100 mil. Phil's getting 200 mil. Like, what it comes down to is you have an opportunity to make so much more money for far less events, and they're clearly the top tier talent over there, giving them an even better chance to make more additional money. Like, I know people are upset out there because of all the Saudi stuff and because of their track record, their human rights violations. It's not a good look, but when you're throwing this much money around, at the end of the day, some guys are going to take it. That's just the way it is. That's called business in the world. And I'm not saying I agree with them, disagree with them. That's just how it is. Each person is entitled to their own opinion and is entitled to make their own decision. I thought Justin Thomas made a comment about that earlier this morning, and I thought he hit the nail with the hammer perfectly. Like, basically just saying, I'm not going to think differently of Dustin Johnson for going to do this. Like, he thinks this is what's best for his family and what's best for him at this point of his career. And also another important factor in this as well, based on the ruling from the USGA for next week's US Open, it seems like the major tournaments are still going to allow these players to participate in those. And for a lot of the older guys, that's all they care about at this point is winning majors. That's really what is going to add to their legacy at the end of the day, not winning the RBC Canadian Open or, going and winning the Charles Schwab. Like, sure, winning golf tournaments can change your life, but it's not going to have the same effect on your legacy as the majors would. So they're making more money. They're playing less. They can still play in the major championships. It just makes sense for some guys, and you can't really blame them. So I understand the decision, but to be honest with you, Joey, I didn't see this many big name guys going over there so quickly. Like, even Dustin caught me by surprise. I was like, I mean, like I said, I get it, but I just didn't really think that was gonna happen. But when you toss them that much money, here we are. And now Bryson's going over there too, maybe the most entertaining player to watch in the entire sport of golf, whether you like him or not. People watch Bryson DeChambeau, and him going to the LIV Golf Invitational Series is absolutely massive for them, I think. Like, that is a really big deal for them to get a player of his caliber Patrick Reed's going over there as well, which I think a lot of people aren't going to be too upset about. Him and Sergio Garcia are like those two golf villains that nobody really likes, to be honest. So, but I mean, if things continue to progress this way, we've heard Ricky Fowler. There's some rumors that he could be joining them as well.
Was
like
Kevin Na one of them too?
Kevin Na's going over there. There's Lee Westwood. There's a lot of good golfers. And if things continue to progress this way, and I mean, apparently they got $2 billion backed by the Saudi government. I mean, I feel like there's only going to be more players going over there. And it's just, to me, it's going to be really interesting to see if this tour has success. Like, they're not going to be able to get any television rights because the PGA Tour's got ESPN Plus locked down. They got CBS, obviously, with Nance and Sir Nick Faldo, who's I don't want to get on a rant about Sir Nick ruining golf shots for me because he saw them and lets people know that he saw them before the television streams them. But they're not going to get those rights. They're going to be on YouTube. That's how I'm really curious to see if they're going to have success with that. Like, I understand that, especially with the younger kids, like YouTube is the bread and butter nowadays, but like, especially for golf, like it is an old man's sport. I know it's becoming a little bit less of that, especially since COVID, but you think a lot of old people are really going to be tuning into YouTube for 5 hours to watch this series? Like, I personally don't. So I think that's going to be the most interesting part, is whether or not, they're going to be, the public eye is going to be very entertained and is going to be consistently watching them. I'm very intrigued. And hey, one thing I'll give to them, they've certainly added some names to help in that department. So I'm really interested to see how this first tournament is going to go. They're debuting tomorrow at Centurion Club just outside of London. It's going to be interesting, man, but I have a feeling like this is just the beginning. And it's been a crazy last couple of weeks for golf drama, and it seems like this is only going to be just the beginning, man.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, money talks.
Always does, always will.
It's you can agree, you can disagree with the government, you can agree and disagree with what's happening over there, what they've done in the past. All that matters to these golfers, it sounds like, is just it's a better situation. They're making life-changing money at this point. Like, for some of them have already made a ton of money. Like, DJ's made a ton of money, Phil's made a ton of money, but like,
Paulina's probably expensive though, so
yeah, and this is
expensive taste. DJ's got to keep her happy.
Yeah, true. And it's like, dude, why? It's the guaranteed purse, right? It's the guaranteed purse. I mean, you're making a little bit more, obviously a lot more. So I don't know, man. I think we are going to see some more of these golfers start to make the switch. I mean, we talked about Kevin Na. He was one of the guys that I almost got right 2 tournaments ago with the T7. He tied with Mito was another one of my guys. Spieth was another one of my guys. Finau was another one. All those guys, top 10, just did not get the outright win. So kind of transitioning this back to, the betting show that we're doing today. I mean, it'll be cool too, looking forward to these future bets. Like, how are you going to attack some of these futures when you're looking at some of these major tournaments? Sounds like they are going to be eligible to play in some of these majors. So is that going to knock their price down, do you think, on some of these future markets, because maybe they will be punished? Like, that's something I'm starting to think about here as we walk through this. Like, if they are going to knock the number down, but then they are still eligible to play or to golf in those tournaments, I might be considering like a DJ at, like, what if we get DJ at, 100-1. I mean, I'm not saying that's going to happen, or like 80-1, like some crazy number like that in a major tournament. I mean, that's something to think about.
I think the biggest way it could affect it, just kind of dawned on me now, would be, first off, I mean, we don't know officially how the PGA Tour is going to punish these players. And honestly, I mean, a decent amount of them have already said they resigned from the PGA Tour. Kevin Na, Dustin Johnson, like, they already don't seem like they really want to come back. But my one curiosity about the futures maybe for a major is, because this is only an 8-event series, like, this time next year, if LIV is still successful, Dustin Johnson's only going to have played like 3 or 4 events coming into a major. And it's like, well, we don't really know how his form is, because he could potentially be playing in a much weaker field and, still dominating over there doesn't really tell you that much. And B, you're just not seeing him as often as we normally did on the PGA Tour. So that could potentially have an effect in some future markets. Maybe you catch a number hanging on a player with elite talent who just we haven't seen a lot from him. That could definitely affect the futures market. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting for sure, especially in a couple weeks too for the Open when they go overseas. I mean, that's going to be interesting coming after some LIV events. So, man, what a time for golf fans. I mean, reshaping the game, to be honest. It's really odd that, like, I don't think we think about these things all like when they happen, but we're in the midst of golf changing as we know it. And like, we kind of realize it, but who knows in 5 years where this game is going to be. We could look back at this and be like, damn, the PGA Tour, this is where it went rift, like it's just crazy what's going on in the golf world right now, man.
No, that's definitely true and accurate. I think, like, if anything, this does open an opportunity for growth as well, though, because, they're going to grow the game with another league here, like, basically is what's going to happen. And I think that, some of this drama will intrigue people. Like, people love drama. So, like, you're hearing about this in the national media circus that, let's be honest, a lot of the national media doesn't want to talk about golf. Like, they talk about golf when it's the majors, right? They're not sitting here talking about RBC Canadian Open, right? Like, they're not doing that unless there's LIV Golf news and drama with DJ leaving and Bryson DeChambeau, and you know what I mean?
Right.
So that's kind of where I'm like, well, maybe this will sell some more golf, just for the PGA as well, because, like, there will be a little bit of back and forth. Maybe you get some hot take comments from some of these golfers. Maybe, you know what I mean? Like, we could see
for sure.
some budding rivalries.
Say something stupid. It's coming probably next week when they go and interview all the players before the U.S. Open, but somebody's going to say something stupid. Someone's PR team is going to be flaming.
Oh yeah, and I can't wait for it, to be honest. I don't want anybody to say something stupid that's going to jeopardize their playing career or something.
Phil Mickelson.
Yeah, I mean, it's already happened, but it's definitely going to happen again, man. I kind of want to move this back to the RBC Canadian Open, though, because I want to win this week. Like, look at the Al Davis. If you're watching this on the live stream, you can see next to my handle, my Twitter handle at Joey Knows Nothing. Just win, baby. We just want to win before we get to this next major next week. I mean, Jack, we look at this, the odds right now. You got at the top of the betting board, Scotty Scheffler, a thorn in our side every single time. Justin Thomas, Rory McIlroy, Cam Smith, top of the board. And then your boy, Sam Burns, who I know, I'm sorry for even bringing it up again, but I want you to give me, like, a course breakdown and then kind of thoughts on, I guess, the top of the card here before we dive into, like, our actual picks.
Yeah, this is an interesting course because, well, as we've touched on, they haven't been in Canada since 2019, but they haven't played at this course in quite some time. And it's one of those tracks where I feel like anyone could potentially win. It's a short course, just over 7,000 yards. And based on the information that I've gathered, I really believe it's, approach is always going to matter. But if you leave yourself in a good spot, if you hit the fairway off the tee, that's really what it's going to be all about. Keeping yourself clean, because these are some long, thin fairways. They're not impossible to hit, but you can get yourself in some trouble if you're not hitting the fairways. There's a lot of trees lining them. So if you're not hitting fairways regularly, you're probably dead here. And that gives people an opportunity to club down, ensure that you hit the fairway. And because the course isn't terribly long, you're going to still have an opportunity and not be hitting 4 or 5 iron in or something like that, more like 7 or 8 iron in. But the course breakdown overall is kind of intriguing because it's a short course, but they do still have some long holes. Like the par 3s in particular are long. There's 5 par 3s on this course. There's only 3 par 5s. Of those 5 par 3s, 4 of them play over 200 yards. So those are going to be not as much gimmies as they are potentially, or other weeks on the PGA Tour, I should say. You're going to have to hit a really good long iron shot in on those. But the par 5s, to counter flip that, they're not very long. They're 2 shots for the most part. You're going to be able to you're going to have eagles. They're not going to be coming, left and right, but you're going to have eagle opportunities. They pretty good chance that a lot of the players are going to constantly be making birdies on those holes. And then for the par 4s, there's no in between. 3 of the par fours, there's 10 of them on this course. 3 of them are less than 400 yards. And then the other 7 are 450 to 500. So it's just kind of all over the place, right? But all in all, I think the thing that matters the most is you got to leave yourselves opportunities to score. You got to hit your fairways. You got to be doing well on approach. And usually the player that can putt the best, putting has genuinely mattered a lot in these types of fields. Like if you're hitting greens, it's just going to come down to who's going to have the hot putter. And that's why in a tournament like this and with this field, it opens up an opportunity for a lot more guys down the board potentially to come into effect. So that's what kind of makes things tough looking at the top, especially when you see some incredibly short numbers. I mean, JT is super short. Scheffler, I'm going to act like Scotty Scheffler's not even playing this week. If he burns me at plus 700, that's going to be the least painful burn of the year. Like I'm not going to take Scotty Scheffler at plus 700 on this type of field where, you know, I'm sure he's out there to win. Everybody is, but he more so just wants to gauge where he's at before the U.S. Open next week. So I'm really not that intrigued by the top of the board all that much. I'm not going to lie to you. The first person that kind of catches my eye here, knowing my track record, I should just bet Cam Smith because once I go off somebody, they just win the next week.
Yeah, seriously.
I know. I've just had terrible luck that way. Rory does seem enticing. I just don't know if I'm going to do it at plus 800, but I mean, I don't know if I can get there this week. Like Shane Lowry fits me as a good fit for this course. We know he's a really good putter and he's been playing just absolutely phenomenal all year long. My one worry about Shane is it almost feels like he peaked earlier on in the season and he didn't capitalize on those and didn't get his win. He had a couple Sundays where he was right there in contention and his bread and butter just kind of let him down a little bit. So I don't know. I'm very conflicted at the top of the board. At this moment, Joey, I haven't placed a single bet yet. So I'm kind of gauging how this is going to go based on just our conversation with you. But knowing how you like to bet, I'm going to guess that you're not all that interested in anyone under 20 to 1 or maybe even 30 to 1.
No, you know my style. I mean, it's I like to go for more long shots, and I'll probably have at least 4 or 5 more before this tournament actually kicks off than what I'm going to mention while we're on here. But, you know, I like to keep it kind of simple for people that are watching, listening. I don't want to give you just a ton of names. My personal strategy, though, like we've talked in the past, is I like to kind of spread out the board and go like a tenth of a unit for outrights. Do about a tenth of a unit.
So where are you starting? Where are you starting your card at?
Believe it or not, I'm starting a little bit with worse odds than I normally would this week. So I'm starting at like Corey Connors.
Oh.
And he's 22 to 1. I know it's your boy. I'm going to let you have the floor, but I talked you into this. I believe it was the last show we did, or either that one or the one before.
Yeah, it was at Schwab.
Yeah, and I'm sorry that I did that because not good. But hey, you know, he's been golfing so well this year. I mean, it's I know his odds have been much better in past tournaments. You're getting 22 to 1 on DK on DraftKings. That's horrible for Corey Connors, but
terrible.
He's gaining around the green for the first time and having, you know, his best putting year, gaining strokes there as well. I think Connors just makes a lot of sense. The Canadian homeland, yeah, maybe it's added pressure, whatever, but I think that the way he's been golfing, I think this is a good spot for him in this weakened field. It makes sense why his price has come down so far. What do you think about your boy?
Oh, I'm so torn, buddy. I am so torn because the number's terrible. I mean, let's call it what it is. The number is not good for Corey Connors. Obviously, he's my boy. I've FOMO bet him for I've lost so much money on Corey Connors, man. He owes me. I'm probably going to Venmo request Corey Connors one of these days and be like, listen, bud, I'm losing a lot of schmeckles here because you're not pulling it out on Sunday.
You were talking about pre-show. We were talking about Tony Finau and how much money he's probably lost bettors on outright bets. Corey Connors could be up there as well, at least for this season.
Yeah, I mean, the iron play is just like, you know, strokes gained approach matters everywhere. That's Corey Connors' bread and butter, baby. Another tough part is Canadians. I don't think a Canadian's won this since 1933 or something crazy like that. Like, Canadians haven't won the Canadian Open in forever, but I'll probably still throw something on Corey Connors just because that's my guy. I'm a ride or die fan.
Don't do it because I'm telling you though this time, please. I'm not taking I'm not taking the blame this week.
22, 25 is like, even a 30 is like not great. I'd much rather bet a 30 than a 22 if I can find it out there. But this is just like, that's how tough the top of the board is. And we're going to have to make this decision, Joey, where it's either let these guys burn you or just realize that they are the best players in this field. That's why their numbers are beaten down, and you just got to take them for what it is. And like, sometimes that's what happens. You look back on the week and you're like, oh yeah, Rory McIlroy was clearly the best player in this field. Plus 800, sure, but it's still a profit, like, yeah, that's the tough choice we're going to have to make. So I don't know. I don't know where I'm going to go with this yet, like I said, because it's intriguing at the top because guys have been playing well. I know I'm not going to get on JT. I'm not going to get on Scheffler. I'm not going to get on Cam Smith, which I swear if he comes to win this week, I'm going to be fuming. Rory, 800. If I can find a boost to like 12 or 13, I might start my card with Rory. He absolutely dominated the last time the RBC Canadian Open took place. It was at a different course, wasn't at Royal St. George's, but he absolutely lapped the field there when he was clearly the best player there. And then Shane Lowry and Matthew Fitzpatrick both have been playing like really good golf. They haven't won, but they've just consistently been in contention. And this feels like one of those courses where, they're both very accurate off the tee. They put themselves in the fairway. They just don't make a lot of bogeys, and this isn't a tournament. I don't think, Rory won at minus 22 in 2019, but the next closest player to him was minus 15. So I think that's probably the more realistic range we're going to see here. Like 15 to 17 or 18. I think we'll probably get the job done. Like this is it's not the US Open, but it's still an open style track. Like they have really thick rough going on over there. And if you're not hitting the fairways, you're going to get penalized. Like this isn't a birdie fest. I know it's a weaker field and sometimes we see those before majors. This isn't a birdie fest by any means. It's still a difficult course. Like the last time they played this year, it was Carl Peterson. It was in 2010. He shot a 60 in one round, a 10 under 60. It's a par 70. He finished minus 14 that week and won the tournament. So he was minus 10 one round, was minus 4 the rest of the tournament and won. So that kind of tells you that this place is going to play a little difficult. And that's why I'm a little tempted with guys like Lowry, Fitzpatrick, and Hatton. But I don't know if I'm going to get there. And we've seen the week before majors, some long shots have won so far this year. And JJ Spawn, KH Lee, TPC, KH Lee going back to back at the Byron Nelson. So signs are pointing me towards just fading these guys. Like I said, I haven't made an ultimate decision yet. I don't have a single bet made, but yeah, there's not a whole lot I like below 45, 50 to 1 here too much. Tony Finau, though, interestingly enough, Joey, your boy, we were talking top 10 Tony never cashes them outrights, but plus 3,000 does seem like kind of a fair number for him here in this field, to be honest. And he has been playing a lot better in the past month or two.
Yeah, recently he's actually got some good form. I mean, it's kind of weird to say. I mean, I know you kind of talked about this to me previously, but you said he's that guy that you think he's going to compete. He makes it look like he's competing basically, and he's never really in it to win. Like a T4 a couple of weeks ago, but he wasn't really in it to win. Like
I don't think we saw a single shot of his Sunday. Like
no, I mean, it's just wild, man. I don't know how he does this all the time. And then he fools people into betting him. So I'm not going to fall for the bait again. I'm with you. This is a good tournament for him, probably. Bent grass, too. I think he does pretty well on the bent grass greens. So I think that this is a good spot for him to compete again. But like I said, compete. Like, are you going to win, Tony? Can Tony fucking win one? I have no idea, and so I'm just not going to do it, but I understand the reasoning. It's basically the same reasoning I had the last time I bet him, so I get it, man.
Yeah, I'm not going to get there either with Tony. I do see a decent number on him for top 20, which I'm sure we'll get into some props later. But moving down the board a little bit, there was someone – the middle range is really where I'm starting to – my eyes are starting to draw more and more. The 50 to 70, 80, that's kind of where I'm liking. And one guy we talked about that I think we're both going to be on this week, Joey, is Chris Kirk. I'm seeing plus 5,000, plus 5,500. Like, wasn't Chris Kirk like plus 2,800 2 weeks ago? He has one bad showing at the Memorial, and all of a sudden he's buying like Adam Hadwin and Sebastian Munoz. I mean, Munoz has been playing well, to be fair, but this just feels like way too good of a number for Chris Kirk to pass up, and he actually can win.
Yeah, he needs to putt well. Obviously, like you mentioned, that's a big thing.
Yeah.
This tournament that can really be the separators, right? And I'm on him this week. Like you said, 50-1 in this spot, I'm okay gambling on. Like, thought he had a good shot at the Charles Schwab Ranks Challenge. Wound up T15. I mean, he's starting to gain strokes, tee to green. Like I said, he needs to putt better. Before his last event, though, he had gained strokes on approach in 10 straight events.
Yeah, the irons are popping for him.
Yeah, and I mean, I know that might not be as huge here. I think it's still always important, though.
Always.
So it's always a stat that and something that we look at in every tournament. So yeah, man, I like the Chris Kirk call. Is there anybody else in that kind of 50-1 to maybe 70-1 range that you're looking at?
Yeah, I got 2 at 70-1 that I like. Johnny Vegas has been playing some really good golf.
Okay, all right.
I like some Vegas bombs. Give me some Sunday. If Johnny Vegas wins at plus 7,000, my Sunday will be filled with Vegas bombs. I will go out of my way to go to a bar and drink some Vegas bombs for Johnny Vegas. And Brendan Todd, man, at plus 7,000 too. This just seems like a really good Brendan Todd track. He hits fairways. He's good on approach, and he can get really hot with the putter. He just had a really good showing at the Charles Schwab, where he came in third and he was right there in contention, man. This just feels like the type of place where Brendan Todd can actually compete, where distance isn't the determining factor. Like that's it on Bombers courses, he just can't keep up because he hits like 270 or 280 with the driver, which compared to PGA Tour pros, that's not anything compared to us scrubs. That seems amazing. But this just feels like a place where Brendan Todd actually has a chance to win. He was a 2-time winner. Excuse me. 2-time winner on tour not all that long ago. People may forget. Brendan Todd really resurged his game. So I'm going to be in on both Johnny Vegas and Brendan Todd 71. I haven't made the bets yet, but those for sure are going on my card. What do you think?
I'm on Brendan Todd as well. I mean, he's like you said,
Todd father, baby.
The Todd father. Let's go. Let's have a little sit down right here. T3, like you mentioned it, the Charles Schwab ranks. I just love saying that, by the way.
I know. And our boy's in the tournament this week too.
He is. Maybe that's a bomber that we can look at. I don't know. I'm not looking at him.
Probably not, but we'll see.
Yeah, probably not. I mean, like you mentioned it, strokes gained putting on the tour. He's 6th on the tour, 5th in driving accuracy, 2nd in this field in driving accuracy. So I like that even more. And I think that, like we said, it's going to be important. He doesn't have to really be a huge bomber. And the good form coming in, the putting's going to be key. I really like Todd this week a lot. The Todd father, I'm in. Chips on the table.
All right, now we're starting to get into some of the bombs here. Is there anyone you like, before we go down the list a little bit more, is there anyone below 100-1 that caught your eye at all? Anyone else?
Yeah. You called him the Mac Daddy.
Oh, baby. You're just going with all the Canadians this week, huh? You're hoping for that reverse Canadian juju.
I got an American here in a second, but he's a little bit longer. He's a longer odds guy. But yeah, I like this Canadian here, Mackenzie Hughes. I mean, look, he hasn't won an event since 2017 when he won the RSM Classic. Finished T2 again there this year. But the lack of winning, I mean, that does scare me a little bit, and that reflects on his price, 80-1 in this shitty-ass field. But finished T14 at this event in 2019, different course, like you mentioned, T8 in 2018, T32 in 2017, which is a top 40. I like those top 40s. And oddly enough, we'll talk about that in a second here about prop bets. The way he's been playing around the green for most of the part this year, I think it makes me at least intrigued.
Yeah.
So at this number, I'm just going to go ahead and be willing to throw a shot here at the Mac Daddy. Yeah,
I mean, if you want someone who can get hot with the putter, that's Mackenzie Hughes. That's his game, was with the putter. That's interesting. I don't know if I'm going to be on Corey Connors, I don't know how many more Canadians I personally can get on, but I do understand why you take Mac Hughes here.
It's a little overloading, isn't it? With
a little bit, but hey, man, I mean, you're the more successful golf bettor this season, so I got nothing to say really here. But moving down the list, man, God, once you get past 100-1, it is, pardon my language, it's fucking gross, man. It is just gross, dude. Who are some guys that popped out to you? I got a few down here that I'm interested in. Obviously, we've talked about it a few times now. Week before a major, we've seen some longer shots win. Who were a couple that caught your eye?
Matthias Schwaber ranks.
Yeah, we're gonna throw wagers on him every week forever now.
No, I'm kidding. There were a few guys in here that I'm interested in. I might end up betting on. I just haven't gotten there yet. You kind of like JJ Spawn could be an option, I guess. I haven't really done. I'm not doing it.
Anything since he won? Because I actually have no idea. It's like he won.
I don't know either.
I don't know. I genuinely don't.
I don't know either. But like, it's so wild that like you said before the major, though, right?
That could be his thing. Maybe
it's his thing. Maybe that's his thing. I don't know. But there's some guys in here that potentially, I guess, I could get on. Like maybe a Sabatini, Rory Sabatini, possibly. I mean, that's real down there.
Medalist, or maybe silver medalist, I think.
What's that? Sorry,
I'm pretty sure he got the silver at the old Olympics. And that's the last I heard of him.
Okay. Yeah. I haven't heard much of him either. So I'm just kind of throwing darts here.
This feels so bad.
It's horrible, dude. Like Adam Long, is that an option?
I've heard people on Adam Long this week. There's not a lot of guys that I don't know much about. Adam Long, I really don't know anything about, but I've heard good things about him this week. So, hey, what's his odds?
I'm looking at Bet Rivers. Our sponsors at Bet Rivers, he's at 100 to 1. So,
I see him at 140.
Okay, even better. If you see 140, maybe. I don't know. Do you want me to give you the guy? Is there anyone in particular that you are on so far? Or you haven't placed a bet yet, though.
No, I haven't placed a bet, but I'll rattle off some names who have intrigued me. Rasmus Højgaard is someone who intrigues me. Honestly, he's not a good fit for this course, but he's been playing really well. He's got top 10s and top 20s in both of his last two PGA Tour events. He's made 14 consecutive cuts across a bunch of different tours. He plays all over the place. 100 to 1, like he can score. He's one of those guys who can go low. So 100 to 1, I feel like could be a decent bet. Nick Taylor, that's a Canadian. If you want to just full blood Canadians this week,
every Canadian,
yeah, 130 to 1 could be interesting. JT Poston, 150 to 1. He's played well at courses that have been kind of similar to this. I've seen the RBC Heritage at Harbor Town be a place that some golf folks have said is kind of similar to this. Same with TPC Potomac, where they played the Wells Fargo just a couple of weeks ago, and JT Poston played well at both of those places. So he was a name that kind of jumped out to me. Looking down the board, I don't know if I'm going to go much lower.
Don't take my guy.
I got there was one more guy I want to mention. Patrick Rogers, 150 to 1. He's been playing some decent golf recently. That just seems like a little bit too big of a number for how well his form has been, but I don't know, man. I'm gonna place a couple of these long shots, but those are kind of the guys that jump out to me. Who is your boy that you've been excited to tell me about? Are we looking like way down?
Well, we are.
Oh,
it's not way down. It's under 200 to 1.
I was gonna say, is it Jason Duffner, who's like all of a sudden the worst golfer in the world? He's missed like 20 cuts in a row, and now he's like the lowest odds in this tournament.
No. I didn't look there. This is just a random. Let's throw a dart at a board, like I was saying earlier. Like it's Tyler Duncan, 180.
Oh, T-Dunks.
Duncan hasn't won since like I mentioned earlier. I think it was it Hughes, the RSM Classic. He hasn't won since the RSM Classic in 2019, the 2019-2020 season. But he's another accurate driver. And that's what I like. 9th in accuracy, not over the top horrible in many categories, really, except I think his putter gets the best of him more times than not. This is completely just a long shot for me. But America runs on Duncan.
It does. And hopefully Canada does too, for your sake.
Yeah, and hopefully Canada does too. And this is kind of like one of those, I overloaded on a ton of Canadians, right? This is the friendly USA versus Canada bet, I think. He did finish T15 at the Schwaba ranks. Again, just love saying that. So this completely a dart throw. Hopefully America and Canada both run on Duncan.
Yeah, fuck Tim Hortons.
What's that?
I said fuck Tim Hortons. We want Duncan.
Hortons. We want Duncan. We want nothing but dude, Duncan's right down the street from me. I got to get Duncan. Are you kidding me?
There you go.
So, yeah, Tyler Duncan, that's my guy that I'm super hyped about for no other reason than I just love the price, and I think that he's accurate off the tee.
Yeah, he's going to give himself a chance if he continues to do what he does well. Look, you're gonna have to paint yourself a picture to take any one of these long shots. There's a reason why these guys are plus 100 in this poopy field. Like there's a reason for that. So, like you said, you're gonna have to make your own narratives about it. He's accurate off the tee. That's, I think, very crucial this week. And you're gonna be able to club down here too to ensure that you hit the fairway off the tee. You don't want to deal with that thick rough. You don't want to be fighting through those trees. The guys that avoid those, they're going to give themselves an opportunity, and it's not going to be a birdie fest. So it's not like there's going to be scoring left and right. So, you're going to want to take advantage of your par fives, make your birdies. But if you're, par is going to be a relatively good score here. You need to make your birdies to get in there. But if you're not having bogeys and not dropping shots, that's going to enhance your opportunity to take home an event like this one. So makes sense. Honestly, it does. I don't know if I'm going to get there either. I have no idea who I'm going to bet on these long range guys. I have no idea what I'm going to do this week, buddy. But hopefully, maybe this is the week that cashes. Maybe it's just like, I throw together a bet slip, then I make some money.
I was going to say, doesn't it just seem like it works that way? The week that you're not overly excited about, that's the week that's going to hit, of course. Because
that's how I won my biggest golf bet ever. I just got Daniel Berger in a pool. I decided I'm going to throw some money on him. Next thing you know, I'm up $1,350 and taking my girlfriend to Vegas. There you go. One I've ever had. So,
and that's a little bit of symbolism because you have Johnny Vegas this week.
Johnny Vegas, send me back to Vegas. Should I throw like $25 on Johnny Vegas plus 7,000?
Just call it a day.
Make like 2 racks and go head out west and call it a career.
Yeah, just call it a day. Don't bet on anybody else. Just Johnny Vegas.
I'll throw it all on black at the MGM.
Yeah, as soon as you get in there. Top 40 bets or prop bets, any nationality bets, top 40s, top 20s, top 10s, 5s. Jack, what do you think about this? Because we do have to get out of here pretty soon, but and I know we didn't have like a ton of prop bets when I was talking to you earlier on, but is there one that sticks out or anything? I don't know.
Yeah, a couple that stick out to me. We're talking about Tony Finau. You should probably just bet him top 20 instead of winning. That's probably the better idea. And I see him at plus 110 right now. So honestly, that's not terrible. I'm going to be on good old Vegas bombs, and I'm seeing a plus 225 for him top 20. So that's pretty enticing. Getting into the top 40s. Who caught my eye here? I forget who I was looking at. Do you have any top 20s, or were you just top 40 this week?
You mentioned Finau, so I actually probably might go top 20 with Finau.
I just think that's the smarter way to bet Tony Finau, man.
I like that.
I don't know what the number was. Guy it was. I saw plus 110. I don't know if you could shop a better number out there. You probably could, but that plus money for Tony Finau, top 20 on a field like this, that feels pretty generous.
Yeah, it does. And there weren't any other real top 20s that I might end up getting there, but I do have a couple top 40s. I have we already talked about these guys, so I'll keep it real brief. Brendan Todd plus 110.
Yeah, I see that too.
That was on I believe FanDuel and PointsBet. Mm-hmm. Free promotion here. Mac Daddy, Mackenzie Hughes plus 100 on DK. I found that at much the same reasons for Hughes though. It's taking the stab on him for the outright. Same with Todd. But I think this is just a safer floor. So I've got a half a unit on him, top 40 for Hughes. And I believe I'm going to put a full unit on Brendan Todd.
I like that too. 110. I like the Todd father, top 40 plus money. Finau and the Todd father plus money. That seems pretty smart.
Absolutely. Do you want me to? I'm going to kick this one to you. I don't know if you looked at it. Nationality prop, top Canadian, Corey Connors.
Oh, I haven't even looked at it yet. But what's the number?
I don't have it pulled up in front of me. So I got it.
What's 225? Honestly, that's
fair. I mentioned that I like a lot of the Canadians this week. So should I even? I'm not going to do that personally. I was just saying maybe that's your way of getting Corey Connors as well. I don't know.
That might be the smarter way to get Corey Connors in my FOMO bet.
See, dude. I'm sorry. I'm talking you into more shit again. Let's whatever you want to do.
I don't even like money.
No, neither do I apparently. Yeah, Jack, we do have to kind of get out of here though. Give me a quick rundown of maybe your favorite bet, favorite outright that you will be placing. Any other last minute thoughts about this tournament, about LIV Golf, anything you want. Floor is yours.
Oh my goodness. You just gave me the floor for everything here. Favorite bets. I think my favorite bets, Chris Kirk, I think is the best number out there, to be honest. I don't know why in a field like this, all of a sudden he's dropped down to 50-1. I think that has to be smashed. And I really do like Brendan Todd plus 70, plus 7,500, as I've seen at other places as well. I think his game just fits really well at a course like this. So these are probably my two favorite outright bets of the week. The top 40, I'll probably take Todd as well. That'll probably be my only top 40. Top 20 will probably be Tony Finau. As far as LIV Golf goes, the LIV Golf Invitational Series, are you gonna be checking it out on YouTube at all? That's my question. Like, that's my question that I have for all these people. Are you gonna go on YouTube and watch this weekend?
Because I'm a nut and I'm betting it. Not this week, but I will bet it. So this week I'll probably check it out just to get kind of like, oh, this is interesting. You know what I mean? Just to check it out and see what it's like, and what the broadcast looks like, all that. I probably will just check it out for a little bit. I'm not going to watch the entire tournament this week, but I can't answer for everybody else. I mean, when I bet it, because I most certainly will be betting it at some point.
Same.
Same. No, because we hate money.
Yeah, right.
So yeah, that's I will be watching on YouTube or wherever they broadcast it, because it sounds like is it going to be YouTube from here on out then? Like they're going to start with this one, but
I feel like, I'm sure as a company, I'm sure they're hopeful that they're going to be able to find some network. It's just for sure not going to be CBS or ESPN, but I know it's probably not their hope is that it's going to be on YouTube forever. But as of right now, that's where I know where it's at. So I'll probably check it out for a little bit, man. I want to see if DJ just absolutely crushes it over there, because he is. I mean, we haven't seen it in a while, but when he's at his best, he is 100% the superior talent over there until at least Bryson DeChambeau or possibly others join him later on. But yeah, I'm interested how this whole thing's going to go. I mean, they've talked about how they've wanted to increase the pace to keep people incentivized to watch the whole thing. It's a team event. There's no cuts. Obviously, money's being thrown around left and right. They'll probably be handing people $100 if we were just standing there at the tee box because they want people to watch and be there. I don't know. It's going to be interesting, though, dude. And for the first event, I think it's going to be they're going to be trying their hardest to make it look pristine and make this look very official. So I'm really interested to see how they're going to go about all of that, the broadcasting team and everything, yada, yada, yada. So I'll tune in for a little bit, and if it entices me, maybe I'll check it out more. But personally, I don't know. I personally feel like I don't want to say siding with the PGA Tour, but even in a field like this at the RBC Canadian Open, I feel like I'm still more inclined to watch that than LIV
no
Golf,
doubt. No doubt. I'm watching the PGA tournament.
We'll see if that changes, though, as things go on. I mean, that's going to be LIV Golf's hope. So we're just going to have to wait and see, man.
Once it gets, a pretty stacked card, and, we'll see how it looks this weekend. But, yeah, like I said, once I'm betting on it, I'm going to be tuning in. So
yeah, for sure.
My favorite bet for this week, I'm just going to kind of wrap this up real fast.
Wrap it up.
My pick is Brendan Todd for the top 40. Like you mentioned that. The outright bet, America runs on Duncan, baby. Give me the long shot. But Jack, you need to get off the schneid. That's why Brendan Todd and Chris Kirk would be perfect. We got Christian Kirk, the wide receiver, his older brother, Chris Kirk. I'm not even sure. That's not true.
Definitely not true. 100% not true.
It's not true at all. I just thought it'd be, it could be, though. You never know. So we're gonna make things up now as we go. So if Kirk or Todd, the Todd father, win this thing, we're both going to be happy. You're going to get off the schneid. You're going to go to Vegas. And if Vegas wins, you're going to go to Vegas. So there we go. Just want to let everybody know that if you are interested in Chicago sports, check out what's on tap in Chicago sports. Go to ontapsportsnet.com. Go to on all the social media platforms at ontapsportsnet. Check out the golf content. Lots of great articles from Jack. New contributor Wes.
He's been killing it, man. We're gonna have him on the show next week too. He's gonna be making his first appearance, and apparently he's played the country club before, so he's gonna give us some good insight. I'm really excited for him joining the team, man.
Oh, absolutely. I can't wait. That's gonna be a great time next week to talk about the major. Yeah, he's been a great addition to the On Tap roster here that we have. It's been building. Like we've been building this roster up, and now we've got another great golf guy, and he's into the Cubs, NIU, he's doing many different things here. So that's going to be cool to talk to him. And, On Tap Golf, like just the account itself, go on social media, go to Twitter, follow it at On Tap Golf, follow at On Tap Bets, which if you're on Twitter right now watching the live stream, you know where to find us. But still, with that said, you could be on YouTube. We encourage you to go to YouTube for the next show. because then you can comment, you can talk to us, banter back and forth, talk about Schwaba ranks for the 500th time, talk about the bets that didn't cash for us for this upcoming tournament. Because unfortunately, that's just the way it works. When you put out 4 outright bets, you can only have 1 as your winner. And more than likely, you're not going to have any. So with that being said, thank you, everyone, for joining us. Thank you, Jack, for jumping on here, as always. Love doing this, man. Just absolutely love doing this. So everybody,
always when we're on the show.
Absolutely. Guys, thanks for tuning in. Promo code ONTAP at Bet Rivers for a deposit match. $250. Did not want to forget that part. Follow at Jack Bushman 2 on Twitter. Follow me at Joey Knows Nothing. That's nothing without the win. Just win, baby.
Let's go. Let's do it, baby. Let's get it this week.